So, Doug, how did you get involved? I mean, now, like I said, I believe, published over 250 articles and books, both independently and collectively with others. You had to start somewhere, probably. You had to put that first foot forward. So, what were some of the things you did to get yourself out there?
Um, I started going to conferences. I started going to conferences and making little presentations, state conferences, local conferences, because I had ideas, things that I think were working in our schools, in our classrooms, and I wanted to go share and I wanted to talk with it. But I didn't start with presenting. I started with attending. And I started going to these professional events, and I'm like, well, I could share that. I have an hour in me that I can talk to adults. And so then the next year, I made a proposal. It was to an ASCD conference. I had gone the year before. I wrote a proposal, and somebody liked it, and they accepted it, and they made it a ticketed session, my first ever. And so people, like people had to go on the program and pick in advance. And it was so cool because the people who came really wanted to be there. They'd chosen in advance. And and it really changed like, oh, here's 1 hour of my life where I got to talk to other grown-ups about what I do in the class and how I think about it, the impact, etc. And I really enjoyed it. And so I think for me, that's where it started. I'm also really lucky that I was working at a school, a high school in San Diego, not the school I work at now, but a different one. And a professor brought some people around to our school. One of them happened to be the co-editor of the Journal of Adolescent and Adult Literacy. And that person said to me, I really think you guys are doing some amazing stuff in this high school with literacy work infused across the school. Would you write an article for our journal so we can have it reviewed and see? It never occurred to me. Yes, I will do that. And and he left his contact information, and I ended up sitting down and writing it. I got a whole bunch of advice on how to make it better from whoever the reviewers were. I did it. I sent it back to him. He reviewed it again. I got more advice, and on the third time, they accepted it. And it was my first ever journal publication, and it felt great. 6 or whatever months later, in those days, they mailed you a copy of a paper journal, and before anybody else got it, I had a month in
Uh-huh.
advance of like next month, this will be public information. And that feeling of contributing to the larger profession never goes away. There's everything that Nancy and I write. When it comes out, we take a moment and say, look at this. Someone is reading something we wrote, some idea we had, some thought we had, some synthesis we made. So, and I want lots of teachers, most teachers, every teacher to have that experience. I say this all the time. Every teacher in this world has a book in them because we've collected so much experience. We take the research evidence, take the best practices, and we put them into action. It's just that most people don't sit down and take the time to write and share their thinking. I think there's other ways besides books. There are podcasts like this. There are blog posts. There are chapters. I mean, there's all kinds of ways. You can have a presence on social media. I watch teachers on TikTok all the time. I think they're sharing great information. There's all kinds of ways of doing this, of getting your thinking, your experiences, your recommendations out there. There's all kinds of websites that have made a lot of money sharing what teachers do. Uh, I appreciate that there's a revenue share with the teachers because we deserve to get compensated for this. We're also funded by the public, so I also think we have a responsibility to share some of our thinking in ways that are not for money. Like I think, we still go to a lot of conferences for which there's no financial incentive because we're part of a community and we come together, we learn, we talk, etc. And I think teachers should be compensated for spending the extra time doing their blog posts and their TikToks and their LinkedIn and their web, blogs. I think, books and whatever. Um, but I think the bigger reward is really the moral rewards that come, the ethic. Like someone read it, they liked it, it helped that teacher that's 5,000 miles away from me.